Howdy folks, I'm Tom Vasel and welcome to Week in Review. This is where we take a look at all the reviews we did over the past week, tell you what we think of them. And if you want to see the full review, simple enough. Go down below in the description, click the links there, and you'll go to the full review and find out our full thoughts. But here are the short thoughts. Let's start with Zee.
Hey everybody, Zee Garcia here. So last week I did a comparison video between Gem Rush First Edition and the newish Second Edition. Just comparing the two. I've already done a review of the original Gem Rush. Spoiler, I liked it quite a bit. And so I took a look at the second one in comparison to that. And then I did two reviews. I reviewed Valparaiso, which I rate a 6 out of 10. It's a Euro game kind of through and through, cube pushing sort of idea. It's a pretty game. It's got some programming that I think does not work as well with more players because what you intended to do has sort of changed by the time you're ready to go. But with fewer players, there's less interest on the board. So unfortunately, that's what dings it the most for me. And then I reviewed Nemo's War, Second Edition. This is a solitaire game. You can play cooperatively, but really it's a solitaire game. I rate this a 7 out of 10. It's a big game. It's got a lot going on in it. It's going to take a couple of hours at least. But it is an engaging game. It's sort of an adventure game. There's going to be a lot of rolling dice, simulating combat on the high seas. There's a lot of flavor in the game. And while I think it feels a little bit like an old school design in many ways, if you buy into that, you start to dig it. And I think there's so many dice rolls in the length of the game that it technically should even out, So I did enjoy it. And that's it for me. I will see you all on the next one.
Hey folks, welcome back to another Week in Review. Did 3 videos on my own this week for you. The first one was a review for a game called They Come Unseen. It's put out by Osprey Games a little while ago, but it's designed by a former submarine commander, and it's a submarine warfare game. So how cool is that, right? Well, I gave it a 7 out of 10 because I really did enjoy it. I think there's a lot of really neat mechanisms in there. Go check out my review for a little bit more information on that route. But I also did a review for Time of Legends, Joan of Arc. Now this one I've been waiting on for quite some time, and I really enjoyed it. It did not disappoint me at all. I gave it a 9 out of 10, seal of excellence and all. So go check out that video as well. And then I did a first impressions video for Command & Colors Medieval. This is one of the newer versions of the Command & Color systems that have come out, focusing upon, of course, the medieval era or the medieval age, the Dark Ages or what have you. So go check that out as well. Well, that's it from me. Let's get back to the rest of your review.
All right, so from myself, first of all, we have Ambar, which is an interesting game about kind of pushing your luck and going along collecting amber. I like the concept of the game a lot, but unfortunately, it's just way too lucky. It relies on the push your luck aspect too much. Tiny Epic Mechs. This one was a big disappointment for me. I love the components of the game. Love the little meeples. You put them inside mechs with weapons. It's great, but the fighting of the game is really boring. It's all about combat between mechs. That combat's boring and a little bit lackluster. Then Vita Mars, I'm sorry, this is kind of a deduction, not a deduction, but secret role game where players are in different teams trying to see if people live or die. It's kind of a dark theme anyway, just a little too convoluted for how simple the game is. 3 Laws of Robotics. You're going to love it or hate it, where essentially you're trying to figure out who you are. Are you a robot, an android, or AI? You can't see your card. You can see everybody else's. And you ask each other questions to figure it out. And then you do silly things, too, where you have to say beep, boop, beep every time you ask a question or whatever. Some people are going to love that. Some people don't. I found it okay. Enchanters Overlords. This is a great little game where you build up an amazing artifact and use it to fight creatures. A little fast card game, really cool. Big box, great production, and bad production. In the same box. It's really weird. The production is all over the map, which keeps this from being better than it was. But I still really enjoy the game. That's the 7 rating. Space Gate Odyssey. We actually played this one live at some point on Dice Tower, so you can see that. But in this game, you are placing engineers. There's a really cool system of moving engineers around to take actions as you build the space station, and then send settlers off to planets in a point collection game, which is a little bit more boring, I think, than the rest of the game. The whole game fits together pretty nicely, although the space theme is a bit pasted on. Then we have Scare It. This is a really simple little game in which you have these different animals that are out on the board, and you control one animal and one color, and you're just basically taking out other ones, shrinking the board down until somebody gets the most points. Grimm Masquerade, really like this one a lot. Takes place in this, fantasy world, or a fairy tale world, I guess, Beauty and the Beast, Rumpelstiltskin, things like that. You are secretly a character trying to unmask the other characters at the masquerade. It works really well, feels like a bigger social deduction game that can be played with just a few people. I took a look at Ryan Laukatt's new The Ancient World. This is a new edition of it. It's kind of like a 1.5. He adds, this is giant titans are attacking and you need to fight them off. And the titans are a little bit more dangerous. He also adds a new resource. And so all this together makes the game more streamlined. It's a more esoteric game from Mr. Laukatt, but as always, he designs great stuff. Also, look at the upcoming expansion for Smash Up, Culture Shock, that comes with 5 different things, a lot of fairy tale creatures. It's a fairy tale week. And so I like all the different factions. I like most of the factions for Smash Up, and some of these I really enjoy. Check them out. And then I took a look at the new Heroic Adventures for Unlock, which actually has different ratings for each one, but it has possibly my favorite one, Alice in Wonderland, in there, although I did like the video game one, and the Sherlock Holmes one was not bad. It's a really good combo, possibly my best grouping of 3 that have come out so far. I also took a look at the new Keyforge 2-player starter deck and what comes in that box. And we did a Dice Tower dive on chess, and there was a few other live things that went throughout last week, so you can check all that out, of course, on the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching Week in Review. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching the Dice Tower.